So, can you receive the Eucharist if you're divorced? It's a more complicated question than you think. Hey guys, it's Jhon back again. I recently put up a video about why uh, Christians are leaving well, specifically Catholics, why Catholics are leaving the church. And I was referenced interviews by three priests who were talking about this process. I've had several very angry Catholics come at me and say, you can receive the Eucharist. And they got very angry with me. And the reality of it is we're both right. We're both right. You absolutely can receive the Eucharist if you're divorced. But why is this? Because the church does not recognize the divorce. They do not recognize that you are divorced because the church doctrines literally say you are married for life. And so when you get a divorce, they don't step into play until you try to marry somebody else, because then you're become an adulterer. So the idea that they can still receive the Eucharist is fine because the church says they're still married. Has nothing to do with whether the actual divorce itself is against the rules. The church just says you're not divorced, period. And when you finally decide you want to get married to somebody else, there's a whole process that you have to go through in the church to get the annulment. And the actual judge of that annulment is the bishop of the diocese. So it literally goes through a whole judicial process within the church for you to be able to get the marriage annulled. Now, how do you get it annulled? You can only get it annulled if they find that it was an unlawful marriage in the church. The church has the last say as to whether or not you can remarry, because they will decide whether your marriage was against the laws of the church, and they will tell you whether or not. If you get married without that annulment, you are not allowed to have the Eucharist, because now, according to the church, you're an adulterer or an adulteress. And so the idea of, yes, you can still have the Eucharist if you're divorced is absolutely true, except for the fact that the only reason that is the case is because the church says you're not divorced. The church literally says you are married to this person for life until that marriage is annulled. So in the eyes of the church, you are not divorced. In the eyes of the church, you are not divorced. You are still married to that person who you divorced, because the church says you have a covenant with God that says you are with that person until death do you part. And so you're absolutely right. In the Catholic Church, you can still have the Eucharist if you divorce someone. You just can never marry anybody else without the church saying it's okay, and them deciding that your original marriage was unlawful, that the other person created something that caused you to be able to get out of your covenant with God. And so the anger that people are getting that I'm saying that you can't have the Eucharist if you're divorced, absolutely. I give you that credit. Technically, you can still have the Eucharist if you're divorced, but only because the church denies that you are. And that's my thought on this. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.